Dennis, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Fine, great. After a long time.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a while. I'm actually here in Chicago, and we have quite a bit of a windstorm happening outside. I'm watching leaves go vertically upwards.
Okay. So you're right now in the cannabis space too, I guess. I could see your profile, right?
Yeah, no, we are super active in the cannabis space on
That's
a
good.
global basis. So yeah, no, this is a timely event for us for sure.
Okay, that's great. So I want you to make a keynote on the landscape and market opportunity. So you can talk about it 10, 20 minutes,
Sure,
30 minutes.
sure. Let me just, my background's over 25 years of investment banking experience. I've spent quite a bit of time in the cannabis and the space, and quite a bit in biotech. And what I would say, I know that we're focused really now on the U.S. and Canada market, but the cannabis space is quickly becoming a global market. It's almost impossible to detach the Canada and the U.S. Markets from the global markets, and and we're facing, the cannabis markets have been historically, it's been a boom and bust market. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. And if you look at the stock market, you see that these valuations have exploded and then just collapsed. And I think that we've hit a bottom now, and we're starting to march steadily forward as we start to, as the market starts to build again for the people that are actively involved in cannabis stocks. We do have major challenges in this market. Basically what we have is that the cannabis market, no matter where you're at in the world, you're in the farming business, and you inherit all the risks of farming and all the labor intensity of farming. And there's a lot of risks in farming, and it's backbreaking business. It is the major problem that we have is that there's no two plants that are the same. There's no two seasons that are the same, kind of like when you're growing grapes for wine. And the issue becomes is that can you consistently produce amounts of cannabis for whatever purposes, if it's smoking CBDs or the rare cannabinoids, can you produce them in a consistent large volume to where that you don't end up with major supply chain bottlenecks. And that starts with harvest. Obviously you have to go through harvesting it. You have to go through extraction. You have to go through purification. There are technologies that are really moving forward in all these areas. There's genetic modifications that are amazingly important right now that are performing so that these plants are not exposed to the whims of the environment as much as in the past, or that you can actually program them to be high producing in very specific cannabinoids, if it's THC, CBD, CBG, and other things. And it's been impressive in those markets. I think one of the areas that we're really having some issues with is on the testing side, because the testing is coming back, and I would like to say that it's high quality testing across the board everywhere you go, but it's not. I mean, basically, there's some testing facilities that are rubber stamping whatever that you want to see and letting the product go through. And I think that's where the states and the FDA and the federal government are having some major issues, is that, the consumer needs to be absolutely known exactly what the consumer is getting in each actual product that they're consuming. And to be able to do that, it just has to be better testing and more open testing. what that creates as a major problem is that when you're looking at multinational brands or national brands or brands that would like to include cannabis-like products into their consumer packaging goods, their beverages and things of that, they can't have a different product each and every time. I mean, they have to have a level of consistency, kind of like, Coca-Cola should taste the same in New York as it does in California, and things of that. So these are the challenge. Well, and the biggest challenge that we absolutely face right now is we have a hodgepodge of legislation, and each state is different. The federal government hopefully will clear some of this away, and the people that are making the most money in cannabis are the people that are taxing it, and that's just a fact. The people that make the most money in cannabis are the people that are taxing the cannabis, and they have zero risks involved in the game. And these are the people that are putting up a lot of the roadblocks and making it more difficult to operate in these markets that are profiting the most. So I think that federal regulation will sweep away a lot of the state regulations so that we can operate as a clear path forward. The multi-state operators obviously seem to be doing better than the single state operators. They're just more advanced. We're really in a market of execution. You have to be able to, the best operators, the people that execute at the highest levels are winning in these markets. But most importantly is that we're seeing the market being validated through third-party credibility and validation that cannabis solves real problems, and that there's probably over 200 clinical trials going on now. There's been over 50 clinical trials that have been completed within the past couple of years, and they're all proving out to be that cannabis delivers medical benefits, very significant medical benefits for very, very specific very specific medical problems. So when you take that all in all, demand is booming. The validation of the benefits are cascading in a significant way, and it's happening on a global basis. And the technologies are getting better. Hopefully the regulations are going to be in a manageable state to where that we can finally get to a state to where that you can manage consistently within these markets without the surprise, work stoppage or added burdens that the states or federal governments seem to haphazardly step into without really understanding the market or the consequences of what they're doing. But as we're moving forward, we're really moving into a global market. There's no way, there's no doubt about it. Technology, as in all industries, is driving everything from the ground up. Obviously that, we have a couple of different sectors in this market that are critically important. We have a recreational market. We have a medical cannabis market, which is, and then we have a more of a biotech market that is coming on to the forefront. And what I am seeing is that on the recreational side, it's easier to open up those markets because that there are no medical claims being made, and those markets are opening up easier. On the medical side, we are getting major challenges and pushbacks from the pharmaceutical companies that do not want cannabis replacing some of their multi-billion-dollar drugs that people are taking for a multitude of different types of problems or illnesses that they're suffering from. So, but within that sector of the market, I am seeing some amazing technology on delivery methods and absorption rates. That seems to be the next generation within the the natural cultivation is that how do you deliver CBD, THCV, or THC, or some of these other things, and make sure that the absorption levels are at maximum levels, to where that they give maximum benefits, opposed to going through, your generic process of your digestive system. And then now we are at the next generation of what's going to take place in this world for cannabis, which is biotech. And basically what we're looking at is companies that will biosynthesize cannabinoids, especially rare cannabinoids that are economically not feasible to extract, purify and sell in the market, because they show up in the plant in less than sometimes 1% or less than 0.1%. So now that you have these companies that are biosynthesizing these rare cannabinoids like CBG, THCV, CBN, THCA, CB. There's 200 cannabinoids, 100 that people seem that all agree that are known, and that they have very, very, very specific health benefits that are significantly better than just CBD. And the real problem that this is solving is that you end up producing something that's organic, non-GMO, but it is bioidentical to what occurs in nature. It is the exact same molecule every single time, which means zero variance. And that means that you can go into large-scale production, and you can go into large-scale brands, into multinational companies, into CPG markets, consumer packaging goods, beverages, and nutraceuticals, and different things, and know that the exact same product happens every single time. It has zero contaminants, zero toxins, and utilizes about 90% less energy and natural resources. And as we know, the whole world is going towards sustainability. Farming as we know it is going to change dramatically, because it's just unsustainable. And they're able to do this at 70 to 90% less cost. So in my mind, the people that are growing it to smoke it, or CBD, are going to be perfectly fine. But I think once you go outside those markets, the only way to be able to do this economically and to make it affordable to tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, is through biosynthesis. Because now that you can offer super high quality products with super low cost, and what does that do? That expands the markets dramatically, to where that where 90% of the people would be priced out of these markets. Now you probably have 90% of the people that would be able to afford some sort of these products, because that the quality will be so high and the cost will be so low. But as we said today, we still have a major problem from state to state with regulation. We have a major taxation problem. Nobody's taxing alcohol, or I guess they're taxing cigarettes like this, but they're not taxing any other products that, especially like CBD, at 30% or more in each state. And then you have federal regulations that are banning, a lot of the access that you would have to capital. A lot of capital is being blocked out of these markets because if there are large enough funds, they do not want to hit that threshold of triggering a federal investigation into their fund, because that they lended money into, or any of the things that that may trigger a federal investigation. Now, I think we're getting to the end of all of this. I think we've gone to a head. I think the anecdotal evidence is overwhelming. I think the clinical evidence is unbelievably compelling. and that I think that now we're at a stage to where that I think we're in for another big surge of capital, surge of distribution, and you're going to see the cannabinoids being used in ways that you never thought before. They'll be combined with multiple other compounds and elements that will deliver next generation health benefits, but they will be natural. They will not. It will not be this very, very toxic type of chemicals that we digest with pharmaceuticals that cure one problem and create two. It's is what we've seen historically. But that's pretty much what I wanted to say today. If you have any questions or if you want me to clarify on anything, I'm happy to do so. I think we're in unbelievably exciting times because we're starting to see it opening up on a global basis. U.S. and Canada are just the tip. We're speaking to people in Asia. Europe is getting wide open. Asia is opening, which we thought was going to be the most difficult market in the world. Australia is wide open. So, and I think they all work synergistically with each other because you'll see supply chains around the world. They'll all be interconnected at some point in time.
Okay. So, according to you, which is the best performing market? Canada, US? What do you think?
Well, revenues, obviously it's the U.S. market. Everybody always targets the U.S. markets because there's the most money here. I think that,
what are the funding channels? How do you get funding?
Well, the funding channels is, it looks like it's so easy to raise money, but it's very, very difficult to raise money for cannabis. It's unbelievably challenging. Obviously there's different types of deal structures that you can put into place to get there. But if you're not generating significant revenues, right now you have to understand this. The people that grow and do the extraction and purification are making almost no money. And the people in retail are making all the money. So what people are most interested in is it's cutthroat for the grow, purification, and the extraction market because if you look at the CBD prices, they're dropping to nothing, and these guys are. But if you look at the retail prices, you're not seeing that big of a drop. So the people that are getting capitalized or their funding are the people that have the largest retail distribution networks, and because they know that if you have retail distribution, you can add products. And if you can add products, you can add revenue at a click of a finger, as long as that you're smart and you're intelligent about what you do in those markets. And typically a lot of these deals are done with either preferred equity, convertible debt deals. Some of them will do straight debt deals, which are kind of pricey on the interest rate, but you really can't borrow money from anybody else. I know you're from your presentation, you've been more active in the SPAC space. I haven't been involved in any of the SPAC deals, and obviously there seems to be quite a bit of money there. It's just a matter of the markets that we sit in today really have a couple different components. One is that it's a commodity business, so you better have revenue, you better have profitability, and that's just it. And then you have the people that service these markets, the testing equipment, the extraction, the purification equipment companies. They're doing well. And then you have the technology companies to where that it seems to be a boom or bust market because
how about the real estate market, cannabis real estate?
No, those have been great. I did a bunch of those deals back in the day when you couldn't bank any money, and my cat's trying to go in front of my screen. But so basically what we would do is that we would have a grow operation, extraction, purification, and we'd have a retail operation. and then whatever that cash was that we had every month, that became the rent. And then all the money went through the REIT into the REIT market. But the REIT market is it's a printing press. I mean, it is beyond anything the safest investment in the market, because you have real estate and it's tied to an aggressively growing industry.
Thank you, Dennis. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much. I wasn't feeling too well. I didn't think I was going to make it today, so I was like, you got to tough it up. Let's go on, anyways. Hopefully, I'll make it for the second one. But
second, we have a panel discussion. You're welcome. So, thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, I'll try to make that, but I wanted to make sure that there wasn't enough time to cancel on this. I've got a sore throat and a chest congestion, but I wanted to make sure at least I showed up for it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye now.